So let's do the subject change. I think we do the subject change. Dan, from the perspective of individuals versus professionals, the mistakes they make in your research and in your decision-making history, is there some significant differences that those who are highly informed in certain areas make versus those who are sort of uninformed? Is there anything that that you can share in that regime? I mean, it goes beyond just our domain, but do professionals make a significantly different set of mistakes that individuals or non-informed, non-professionals make in the domain of investing?
I think it's going to come down to things you already know from other professionals: practice, feedback loops, the fidelity of feedback loops, and then being committed to the idea of actually learning as opposed to enjoying it. I think one of the big differences is that retail investors. So Barbara and Odine did it, or no, I think it was just Odine got data from day traders and said, let's look at whether or not they're successful and they're doing well. And how long does it take them to realize that they are a good day trader or a bad day trader? And it took them about 2 years, right? And like they're trading a lot over this period. The issue is that I think most retail people don't have really good feedback loops about whether or not they're making good decisions, bad decisions, what their Sharpe ratio is. They don't have the kind of framework to view that as information feeding back to them about how they're doing. So one is that I think professionals usually have intellectual tools, call it like metrics and everything. They're taking it seriously as a profession. So it's not like a fun thing. They're like, I have to do well. That involves being humble and realizing where and how and why I make mistakes, and taking losses as an opportunity to grow, but also setting up those kinds of feedback loops that allow me to do that. And usually also working with other people, right? So very few retail investors have kind of like a very strong decision-making group where they have to talk to other people about trades before they go through with them and explain it or justify it. So I don't think there's anything intrinsic, but I think there's a lot about how you go about it. That's a lot like the difference between a professional basketball player and an amateur basketball player.
Right. The stats are there and the stats are in your face more. And so you get that feedback loop. That actually reminds me, Rodrigo, of your poker group. Right. When the one where you're winning all the time, they didn't know.
The Resolve Asset Management Group?
No, well, that one too. But the other one where where you might get paid for your winnings.
Yeah.
Guys, we gotta let Dan go.
Oh, Dan, you gotta go?
Yeah, we gotta we run over and Dan.
Free will.
I'm sorry.
That's it. Exactly.
My time is up here, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dan, for indulging us. And that was great. Yeah.
Take care, y'all. Happy Friday.
That was
Wait, Mike, stay on though. What do you mean? I'm just curious to finish that thought.
Well, no, because remember, like your friends were, so they're playing against you. You've played a lot of poker. You're semi-professional, call it. Yep. And so they're observing their losses now because you're playing online and you have to add them up in a spreadsheet. Before they would just pay and they would have the enjoyment and they'd pay their couple $100 every so often. And they'd be like, oh, well, it's fun. And I'm a winner.
None of my groups have paid. Right. Now it's like, well, we could settle up, or why don't we just use it in the next boys trip 2 to 3 years from now? And then it'll hurt less. Right. So we're like, yeah, I guess that's fine too. When we can settle up then.
Well, the trick is
my money.
When do you have to admit the losses to your spouse?
Here's what, not only that, the spouses would come and sit next to them. So a few guys that I played, the losers would eventually, the wives would come and ask, how are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And all of a sudden, I swear to you, they'd start winning. Like something would kick in. And there was a moment there when we were settling up where guys stopped showing up. And so we had to switch it and say, look, we'll settle whenever, we'll do it in that trip, what's pennies between friends. And all of a sudden, everybody kind of flowed back into the game. The losers continued to lose, and it was a little bit less painful because the pain was going to come down the line. They didn't have to explain it to their wives at that point. So certainly, it's this concept of who you are today versus who you're going to be in the future, right? In the future, you're going to be a better poker player. You're going to be more disciplined. You're going to pay more attention, and you're going to make your money back so that, I'm not going to get that pain. In the present, they are just as distracted as they've ever been. They don't really care about poker. They just care about the conversation.
Oh, please. It's simply, I want to play poker. And the second I admit my losses to my wife, I'm not gonna be able to play poker again. It's literally as simple as that.
You don't think it's deeper than that?
No.
Well, I'm trying to make
I get enjoyment out of it. No, that's
Speaking of it, are we gonna play this week, or
I don't know if we're gonna play this
we
week.
should do a Resolve for charity poker event one of these days.
I'm doing that now. I help subsidize Rodrigo's kids education fund.
Yeah, so I haven't seen that money.
Do any of our listeners play poker? Like, raise your hand if you'd like to participate in some kind of poker.
Sure, Steve Merrill's on. So
yeah, I'm not playing with Merrill.
Steve's playing some poker.
I'm not playing with Merrill. No, hard no.
You've been in the poker game for a while and you still don't know who the patsy is. You're it. That's from.
What
Steve.
about when you know you're it?
This is what's crazy. These guys know they're it, and they're like, still in it for the conversation, which is great.
Totally. All right, gents, that was fun. I think we made Dan as uncomfortable as possible, so that's nice. I hope we're still
softballs. I mean,
what happens? That's what happens when he doesn't drink.
Yeah, precisely. He didn't have anywhere near
to give it back. You could have made us hurt. Anyway, good chat, guys.
All right, good chat, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. See ya.